hands align. In red and white they always shine. With every pass it feels divine. Arsenal's on my mind. From hybrid days to Emirates grand, each match a symphony perfectly planned. With every goal we take our stand. Arsenal's on my mind.
All right. Welcome back to the Arsenal on My Mind podcast. With you, as always, Mr. Spike and Mr. Sekijay, back after a 2-week break. How you doing, man?
2 weeks, 2 cups gone. That's my reality right now.
Yeah. No, for real. But before we get into Arsenal, it was good to take a little break from recording. But unfortunately, coming back in to record with some negative news. But we move.
More,
But
more like negative, spectacle.
mhm. Yeah, no, definitely. It was uh well, two poor results because we didn't do we didn't do a pre-game or anything for this cup game, and we didn't think we'd have to record an episode about the FA Cup, for crying out loud. But here we are. That's the life of an Arsenal fan, as you find yourself doing things you thought you would never do.
Yep,
But
that's a fact.
mhm. But yeah, so we're out of the FA Cup. Grand, high level, how you feel about that? Being out and the manner that we're out in.
Oh, well, I'm disgusted.
Mm-hmm.
We said in our last pod that maybe the 2 weeks is good
Mm-hmm.
for us, that we'll take that and go, regroup. But it's like status quo, We're
Mm-hmm.
picking up right where we left off on a
True.
slippery slide. And for me, the biggest thing is diabolical for a group of players that are trying to make history and become legends and a defining moment in each and every one of their careers. Is diabolical to just drop form at this time of the season. I mean, it's absolutely diabolical.
Yeah, I mean, so good point to bring up there. Would you classify this as a drop in form? Because technically, we won every Premier League game in March that we played, right? It led to Mikel being given manager of the month, whatever, right? But I'm not saying we won every game in March. So the cup game wise, right? The Man City game was obviously a very bitter pill to swallow. And then this game, right, even though it's a different month, but our two most recent games, right? They felt very similar. They were just very dour performances and they didn't look up to it. But prior to that, and I mean, we weren't playing well. I wouldn't say we're playing really well in March. We're winning games. And my take on this loss and the Man City loss combined, right, is keep going back to what I've been saying since like early March, late February. This up and down request that Mikel is asking these players to do, you know, play this negative, restricting football in Premier League, then turn around and go to a knockout competition like the FA Cup, Champions League, and turn it on. It's it's just not sustainable. There's an argument to be made that, yeah, these are pro players that should be able to do it, but it's not that easy because you're used to playing one way, and you've played one way the whole season for the most part. I mean, early on in Champions League, we were doing it quite effectively, playing tight at home in the league and then beating up teams in the Champions League, right? But I saw it coming. It was becoming more and more negative, the way we play. And in watching this Southampton game, right, in that first half, I mean, I wouldn't say it wasn't negative, and we had Odegaard back, so we looked a little bit more energetic, I would say, in that first half, like we were moving the ball. But it's just, I don't know how to explain it, man. We're just not looking sharp from an attacking sense. And it's easy to say, oh, it's the personnel. But I mean, if you look at that team that started against Southampton, on paper, there was more attacking players on the field than anything else. You had Martinelli, Jesus, Dalman, Havertz, Odegaard, all playing at the same time, right? Normally, you're like, yeah, that should be enough attacking, juice to beat a team in the championship. Now, no, no skin off my back. I won't take anything away from Southampton. I mean, they are challenging to be promoted this year, so they're not like having a bad season per se. They're doing well in championship, and we know those championship teams can be tricky. So we always knew it would be a tricky tie, but the manner in which we lost the game is what pisses me off because it were just two very poor defensive situations. They one a full-on like error, but the second goal was just comedy. It reminded me, a few times I said this, it reminded me of the Mustafi days, you know? The defending for the second goal. But I mean, it's just it's Mikel's fault. It is Mikel's fault. But the players too, like I mean, somebody step up and be like, you know what? Screw this instruction, you know? Like let's just beat up teams. But my rant is over.
I was gonna say, are you done? You see, call it whatever you want to call it. Slice it however you want to slice it. The fact of the matter is, okay, it's one thing to get found out in a cup final against one of the best teams in modern era. It's another thing to turn it around right after that game. 2 weeks later, you go play a championship team. These are the games that matter. This is April. These are the games in the however well, whatever results we've put together all season. These are the times it matters. And then you go put up a performance like that against a championship team that is seventh in the championship. Is absolutely disgraceful. It's disgraceful. It's absolutely unacceptable. And as far as I'm concerned, the players, the coach, they're all to be blamed. They should all look at themselves in the mirror and know that they let this club down and they let the fans down.
Yes, I mean for sure. Because here's the thing, and to your point, I agree. The thing is, I agree that. Well, let me put in perspective, right? Yes, the actual manner of it is disgusting and just morale sapping, But I would almost rather have not made it this far to go out like this,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I would almost rather have been knocked out in the fourth round than this,
Then you get to a quarterfinal, then you go play a team that I don't know, you've never really played together before all season. You put on a lineup. Yes, I understand some players are injured, but he threw that quarterfinal away. He threw that cup away. So much talk for quadruple and treble. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
It's irritating, and
it is.
We as lifetime Arsenal fans, we kept saying it all season. Let's wait till April. Let's see what happens in April. Let's see because we know this club. We've been through this before. We've seen this movie before, and the players lose form. The coach, whatever it is telling them. For it to all just be falling apart at this time of the season is absolutely ridiculous, and it's frustrating.
It is. So the question now is, well, I'm sure that I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask anyway, right? Obviously, the City game and this Southampton game, how much does it affect your confidence in winning the league?
A lot.
Okay.
A lot.
Give me a number. If you were at 70% before, maybe 80, I think you were, might have been at 80 at some point, right? Where is it now?
45.
Wow. So it literally cuts the hope.
I've lost confidence in this group of players.
Okay.
I've lost absolute confidence. I mean, I'm just right now holding my breath to the end of the season. And hoping I don't get laughed at and mocked for the rest of my entire summer.
So funny you say that.
It's frustrating, and this is why sometimes, when we say Arsenal is the most hated club, I can see why, because we've not crossed the line yet, but when we see the finish line, then we find a reason not to cross that finish line. It's just absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, and it's funny you'd say that, right? Earlier today, I had a discussion with some friends who are Man U fans, and they were about to start giving me banter. I was like, hey, hold on right there, right? If we bottle this, there's nothing that you can say to me that will hurt more than actually being in it.
Yep.
You know, I'm like, I don't care how much you want to jest me, but it's like, literally, if we bottle it, you probably never hear me speak about Arsenal again in a group setting. You know? So
Yeah, I don't blame you.
all the banter is irrelevant. You could, like, just know that the reality of it is, if we somehow throw away this league from this position, you will not even see me around to banter with.
Mm-hmm.
I will retreat into my cave and lock to throw away the key. But
and we have no reason not to win the league still.
Of course, and the thing is, like, it's funny because I mean, I was saying that before the Man City game, in a pod before that, I was like, listen, man, yeah, the Man City game is the final, and they'll have FA Cup, you'll have Champions League. I'm like, listen, man, the big weekend is the weekend with Bournemouth.
Yep.
I was like, that weekend was just a whole lot because we beat Bournemouth. Everyone forgets about Southampton.
That's this coming weekend.
Yeah, because we played Sporting on Tuesday first. Then
Yep.
on the weekend we have Bournemouth. I'm like, we beat Bournemouth, everyone, it will help in erasing that Southampton result. It will. And it'll be even a bigger result if somehow Chelsea holds up Man City, right? Then, like I said, leading into that Man City game, those two.
I mean, Chelsea right now, they're doing everything possible to make sure that they lose that game.
Exactly.
Because suspending your best player,
yep.
It's just cutting your nose to spite your face, but that's their problem.
Exactly.
We don't expect any presents from them or any gifts from them or any favors from them.
No favors. I'm just saying, but like, that Bournemouth game, forget about the Sporting game, right? To me, I don't even care about that, to be honest.
I don't.
I'm at the point of like, listen, if you want to go and play 0-0 with Sporting, I'm okay with that,
Yeah.
Go lose 1-0, I don't give a shit,
Right now, just bring the Premier League home.
Yeah, just get to the weekend.
Yeah, because this team is not going to win the Champions League.
Exactly. I said it to, was it you I said it to? No, in a group chat. I was like, people were talking about balling. I'm like, listen, man, at this point, yeah, disappointing. We're out of FA Cup, out of Carabao Cup, we didn't win that. I'm like, Arsenal, I never felt like we were actually like favorites to win Champions League. Yeah, we played the group really well, but like we discussed a few pods ago, the loss of good teams. I mean, we mentioned PSG and Real Madrid and Barca, and Bayern. Like, I don't see it as really, and you were very clear in saying that our attack pales in comparison to those teams, So I'm not like thinking, yeah, no one time. I want us to have an impact in the Champions League. So I'd like us to at least get to the next stage, and play a big team. And if we're to go out there, fine. But obviously, at the beginning of the season, if we're given this option, right? Would you rather win Premier League and cast aside all other cups? We take it. So I'm still like, yeah, give me the Premier League. Just give that to me, and I will forgive all the City and the Southampton and whoever else in Champions League. I'll forgive all of it if we can just get this Premier League. That being said, if somehow Mikel finds a way to bottle this and they don't fire him, this will be the end of my support for Arsenal for one season.
I don't blame you.
I'm not gonna watch if we bottle it. I'm just saying, from this position, we bottle it and they don't. I mean, if he bottles it, he has to be fired. I'm sorry. There's no way around
it. Right? There, you have to fire him.
Yeah, you just have to, But we're not there yet, so I'm gonna reel myself back in and say, it's still okay, There's some signs. It's about the manner. If we had played that City final and lost 3-2, and it was a great, and we played well, and they just beat us, fine. If we had played Southampton and went to penalties or something, fine, right? But it's the manner. Those two games, we felt like we played like chickens.
That's the word. Weak sissies, weak mentality. We thought we had warriors, but warriors are made when the battle is in crunch time.
Yep.
So we have no warriors. And
I mean, we have one, maybe just one, maybe two.
no,
It's not enough.
there's no worry until they are lifting the trophy. They are not warriors. They are pretenders. They are
Okay.
pretending to be warriors.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess we'll talk about the game itself, right?
There's nothing to talk
I
about
mean,
in.
there was one thing to talk about is how is it possible that our best player is a 16-year-old kid? Right? Now, it is possible. I mean, Barcelona has a 17-year-old kid who's their best player, right?
Yeah.
So it is possible. But I mean, are we at the point now where we're saying Dalman should get minutes every game?
I think the biggest thing, even though in hindsight now, it was a mistake letting Waneri.
Of course, it was a mistake.
It was a big mistake.
Yeah, but
Because this team needs a spark. I said it in January that
Mhm.
if you were going to sign a player in January, you sign a player that will spark the team.
Mhm.
This team needs a spark, and it's just. Honestly, I want to end this pod. I don't even want to talk about Arsenal. It's just
That
end
is the
this
first
pod.
in
End
history.
this pod. End it. It's disgusting.
That's pretty hilarious. But we'll end it pretty soon here. But let's land this plane. I mean, so answer the question though. Like, are we at a point where we're like, our best player is Max Salmon, period, right? Does he not start every game, but does he get minutes every game from now on to end the season, in your mind?
If he's the best player,
He has to, right?
he has to,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a way to send a message to the rest of the team.
Yeah.
And what a way to usher in a new era. Because as far as I'm concerned, at least 4 players in our squad gotta go.
Like, gotta go as in leave the team or gotta go as in go to the bench?
No, gotta leave the team.
Okay, so let me read your mind here and say Gabriel Jesus, Martinelli,
Odegaard is number 1 on the list.
Odegaard.
Absolutely.
I think we've been a little unfair to Odegaard. We've been through this before. I agree he's off form. He hasn't hit the heights of his 2 years
For 2
ago.
seasons.
Yes.
For
All
2
fair.
seasons.
All
You
fair.
see, when you keep players like that, and that was the mistake we used to make in the past.
Mhm.
And I hope Batra is a different animal.
Okay.
When you keep players like that, and they're on high wages, and they are very significant to the squad because they are captain.
Mhm.
When you keep a player like that, it gets to a point that it's very hard to sell that player.
Right.
Sell Odegaard this summer.
I'm of the opinion that
Get
you
40
can
million.
replace him without selling him.
Huh?
I'd rather replace him than sell him.
You cannot replace a captain.
You want to be ruthless? That's how you do it.
No, you can't move him to the bench and strip him of his captain ban without getting rid of him getting rid of him from the club. That is poor man management.
Well, maybe
because then you create other issues.
Okay.
Like dividing the squad, dividing the dressing room. So there's no point. The same ruthlessness we showed in the past with our captain, with Ozil, Aubameyang, it's time to show that same ruthlessness. Now, only if we get an upgraded replacement.
Well, of course, we'd have to.
Well, this is Arsenal we're talking about.
So they'll default to Eze?
This is Arsenal. We've seen crazier things happen.
So here's my wild prediction. The only way
And to answer your question real quick, Odegaard, Martinelli, Jesus, and I would say Norgard.
Yeah, Norgard is dispensable. I mean, he didn't play that well in this game, but whatever, that's fine. Now, here's what I think. Here's my prediction, right? I predict that if we actually do end up winning this Premier League, it will be because of Odegaard. That's my prediction. I'm not saying he's going to score 10 goals between now and the season, but it's literally dependent on him because he is the only playmaker on the squad that's fit.
Yeah.
Don't know how long Eze is out for.
Eze is out for the season.
I mean, I heard it could be shorter, but it doesn't matter. Even if it's a month, it's that month is done. This is the month that matters, right? So I'm like, it all depends on him. Because if he shows up and even just, I don't need to hit your maximum best form ever, just be good. He's our best chance to win because if we don't have him playing at least reasonably well and not get injured again, we will drop points, and City will take advantage of those. So, and I say if that happens, right, if he literally is able to put this team on his back, I'm not saying he can, that if he does, right, there'll be no way to sell him next season because he is the captain that dragged this team through this moment. I'm not saying he can or cannot do it,
And
but I think
hence,
it just depends on him.
hence, I'm hoping that your short monologue and prediction is absolutely false.
So who's
I
going to
don't.
do it? Who?
What? Oh, well, I'm already looking at. I'm looking at the long. I mean, yes, I want to win the Premier League this season because it will also help build long-term stability in the club. But I don't want Odegaard to be the man. I want Odegaard gone.
No, I'm saying it would have to be. I'm not saying it should be, right? Because
it doesn't have to be.
It could be
Dauman. It could be Dauman.
But Dauman can, yeah, I mean,
that can be a beautiful story. We can already make him a legend by 16.
But I also think that if it was still fit and he hit his form recently, right? Then there will be every reason to say, Odegaard, you were injured all season, you didn't do anything, you didn't help us and do whatever, sell him. But if it comes down to it, the way I envision this happening is the script writers, right? The sports script writers, if they want to write a script here, they make Odegaard the savior of this season, And
the only script here for Arsenal is Arsenal bottling it.
Well, either way, tell us your thoughts, guys, about how you feel about this run-in this month of April. It's going to be super key.
Absolutely shocking.
Players, Odegaard, give us your feedback. I know you don't have any ratings for the game.
No, I don't.
I know you don't.
End this pod, blood.
So, in show of solidarity, I'll skip my ratings as well.
End this pod, blood. I'm in pains. I don't want to talk about Arsenal. I'm in pains.
Well, our next game that we hit on is on Tuesday, I believe, against Sporting in the Champions League. And first leg in their home, I believe. Yeah, Tuesday.
Is it Sporting or FC Porto?
No, Sporting.
Sporting Lisbon.
Yeah.
Is that Gyokeres' former team?
Yep.
Oh, he's going home?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's the beautiful story. That might be the only reason why we might not lose this game, this two-legged tie. It's just because right now, man, end this pod, blood. I see Arsenal has ripped my heart out. That's what has happened. Arsenal is no longer on my mind now. Arsenal is now in my arteries.
In your nightmares.
It's my nightmares. Arsenal is my nightmare. It's no longer on my mind. Honestly.
Well, I don't know that we'll do a pod after that game. I doubt that we will, unless something crazy happens in there. But we will see you guys back on Saturday.
On the biggest game of our season, which is against Bournemouth.
Yes, the biggest game of our season, like they're all going to be. It's on Saturday, an early one, a 4:30 a.m. game for us here. We rough.
I'm not watching. Nah, Arsenal's not going to do that to me. I've seen that story before. I rather want to wake up in the morning and go, "Hey, we won the game. Yes, now let me go catch up." No, yeah, I'm not doing it. No, I'm sorry.
All right,
end this pod, man.
Okay. Well, guys, you heard it here first. That Sekijay is not watching that game, and he is demanding that we end the pod right now. So we're gonna follow suit and end the pod. But guys, tough being an Arsenal fan. Let's keep pushing, see what comes out of it. But hang in there, guys, and until next time. Keep Arsenal on your mind.
Keep Arsenal out of your dreams.
All right, guys, later.
Under floodlights build the fans align. In red and white they always shine. With every pass it feels divine. Arsenal's on my mind. From Highbury days to Emirates grand, each match a symphony perfectly planned. With every goal we take our stand. Arsenal's on my mind. Oh Arsenal, you never fail. Through rain and sun our steadfast sail.